Roadway congestion is a worldwide problem. Joining us now is Mark Cantelli, Chief Technology Officer for Transportation Systems and Services at ACS, a Xerox company, to tell us what ACS is doing to help address the congestion problem. Mark, what's happening?
Well, let me answer that question with a question. How often have you sit on the roadway or an interstate in back-to-back traffic, but the HOV lanes are open, flowing freely? Well, what state and local governments are doing, DOT, state highway administrations, what they're doing is that they're looking at the HOV lanes as added capacity to their roadways. You know, inner cities, metropolitan areas, they don't have the additional real estate. They don't have the funding for additional real estate or additional construction. So the HOV lanes is a natural fit for them to allow additional capacity in their roadways. And by doing that, they are then tolling those lanes, setting them aside as what we call high occupancy tolling lanes or hot lanes. By putting tolling systems on there, then allowing single occupancy vehicles to travel those lanes, getting them out of those regular lanes that are all backed up and going into the hot lanes and paying for that road or paying for a level of service. And one key aspect of that is our dynamic pricing algorithms. In order to maintain a level of service that people are going to require, because they're now paying for it, you know, they're paying for the extra capacity, so there has to be some value to them. And the value is in, you know, savings of time and reduced congestion, reduced, you know, stress and those kind of things. So that has a value. And what we do in our dynamic pricing algorithm is that we help state and local governments set that value. And we set that value dynamically, or we set that price dynamically. Based on the congestion of the roadway within that lane, we are able to adjust the pricing for the hot lanes in such a way that we can maintain a level of service. A level of service could be an average speed. I can maintain or guarantee 45 miles an hour. So that's worth something to certain people.
And it does create some equity. It moves traffic from the general purpose lanes to an underutilized HOV lane, so all lanes will be moving
All lanes
fast.
will benefit, correctly. There's extra capacity in the hot lanes, and that means there's extra capacity in general purpose lanes. So all lanes start to increase their speed or average speed, and that improves the travel times for everybody.
And you're saying that this is real-time processing. These changes happen instantaneously almost.
Instantaneously. As the speeds start to decrease and the volumes start to increase in that hot lanes, our pricing algorithms will start to increase the pricing. We are then, you know, displaying that price to the driving public in real time, so they know what the current price is, and then they can make a decision whether or not to stay in the hot lanes or move over back to the general purpose lanes, and that helps to maintain that level of service.
And ACS is addressing this congestion issue from the inside out, not the outside in.
Well, that's correct. We've been talking about what primarily is used on the outside of a city, kind of helping manage traffic coming in. But we're also taking the same philosophy, dynamic pricing, and applying that to parking. Because as people are, you know, going around the inner city looking for a parking spot, that's increasing congestion. So we are applying that same principle, dynamic pricing, to parking management systems. So as parking begins to decrease or the available parking space begins to decrease, the value of those spaces increase, and then we can control the flow inside. You know, starting with the tolling system around the city possibly, or just in your major arteries. You can control your flow in, and then once you're in, you can control how many people have space to park. And also that helps with not only parking management, but freight deliveries, because freight deliveries can now be timed based on the available space they have inside the inner city.
Now, this is great in theory, but it sounds like you may have an enforcement issue for occupancy detection when you start dealing with these hot lanes.
Absolutely. And one of the benefits of merging ACS and Xerox together is now we can leverage the Xerox innovations that they have. Xerox is known for imaging. They can image pretty much anything. And so we've been leveraging that capability to help us solve that problem. And that is a big problem. A lot of state and local governments are reluctant to move the hot lanes because they can't solve that problem. How can I guarantee that that person had the number of occupants in that vehicle that they say they had? Well, what we're doing with our Xerox scientists is that we are coming up with a system that will allow us to peek inside the vehicle using imaging and video analytics and determine exactly the number of occupants in that vehicle and be able to say that's a tolling violation or that's an occupancy violation. We actually see a use for that not only for tolling in hot lanes, but actually in just pure occupancy or HOV enforcement. Right now, the statistics are the manual enforcement that happens today, it's about 10% accurate. We believe with this solution, we can increase that accuracy, 10, 20, 30-fold, and also improve safety, so you don't have that state trooper out there. It's that we can start enforcing HOV lanes just for pure occupancy detection, as well as hot lanes, and that, as a total solution to congestion management, will allow us to improve the HOV lanes capacity as well as the hot lanes capacity.
Mark Cantelli, thanks for telling us how ACS is keeping the highways moving around the world.